Vishnu Veda Tutti Nachato Aritani Tutti Obra Suridato Om Shanti 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 Om Nam Namaste Ganapataye. Om Nam Namaste Tumeo Pratyaksham Tumakumati.
Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Brahma Tasme Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Ganana Antva Ganapati Gammavamahe Kavin Kavinam Upavashravastramam Jeshtarajam Brahmanan Brahmanaspata Anushrunnoti Bissi Dasadanam. Om Mahaganadipataye Namaha. Om Keshwaya Namaha. Om Narayana Namaha. Om Madhvaya Namaha. Om Govindaya Namaha, Om Vishnave Namaha, Matsudaya Namaha, Trivikramaya Namaha, Vamanaya Namaha, Sridharaya Namaha, Hrishikeshaya Namaha, Padmanabhaya Namaha, Damodaraya Namaha, Sankarshanaya Namaha, Vasudevaya Namaha, Pradyumnaya Namaha, Niruddhaya Namaha, Purushottamaya Namaha, Dokshaya Namaha, Narasimhaya Namaha, Achyutaya Namaha, Janagraya Namaha, Upendraya Namaha, Hare Namaha, Sri Krishnaya Namaha, Hari Om. Dear friends, we are coming to the 30th chapter of Dashamaskanda of Mahabhagavata Purana. In this chapter, Lord Krishna disappears from the scene of Rasalila, and Gopis are suffering Viraha Vedana, missing Lord Krishna, and they tormented themselves, looking all over the night in the separation of Krishna, wandered like a mad woman from forest to forest in search of him in the Vrajabhumi. When Sri Krishna suddenly disappeared from the arena of the Rasalila dance, the Gopis, their minds fully absorbed in thoughts of him, began to looking for him in the various forests. From all the moving and non-moving creatures, they asked for the news of Krishna whereabouts. They were asking the trees, they were asking the plants, and asked where the Krishna. Do you know? Have you seen Krishna going here? Later, while wandering in corner of the forest, the Gopis saw Lord Krishna's footprints, which appeared mixed with Srimati Radharani's also. Seeing these footprints perturbed them greatly, and they declared that surely Srimati Radharani must have worshipped Krishna with unusual excellency, since she had been privileged to associate with him in seclusion. Further along the path, the Gopis came to Sri's place where they could no longer see Srimati Radharani's footprints. They then concluded that Krishna must have taken Radharani onto his shoulders. In another place, they noticed that Krishna's footprints were showing only the toes. And thus, the Gopis concluded he had been picking the flowers with which to decorate his beloved. In yet another spot, the Gopis saw signs that led them to imagine that Sri Krishna had been trying the locks of Srimati Radharani's hair. All these thoughts brought pain to the Gopis' minds. Because of the special attention she received from Krishna, Sri Radharani began to consider herself the most fortunate of women. She told him that she could walk no further and that he would have to carry her on his shoulders. But just then Lord Krishna disappeared from her sight. Srimati Radharani, extremely troubled, then began looking everywhere for him. And when she finally met her Gopi girlfriends, she related to them what had happened. All the Gopis then went out to look for Krishna in the forest, going as far as the moonlight reached, but in the end they were unsuccessful. So they went back to the shore of the Yamuna and simply sang Krishna's glories in utter helplessness. So this is the summary of the chapter. We are going to read detail now of the chapter. Shukavacha Antarhite Bhagavati Sahasaiva Vajanghanaha Atyapastangama Katinya Iva Yuthanam. Shuka Maharshi is telling Rakshita Maharaja, Shuka Maharshi said, when Lord Krishna disappeared so suddenly, the Gopis felt great sorrow of losing sight of Lord Krishna, like a group of female elephants who have lost their mate. As the covered woman remembered Lord Krishna, their hearts were overwhelmed by his movements of loving smiles, his playful glances, and chanting talks, and by the many other pastimes he would enjoy with them. Thus absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, the Lord of Rama, the Gopis, began acting out his various transcendental pastimes. Sridhara Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur described the following charming exchange between Krishna and the Gopis. Krishna said to a Gopi, "My dear land lily, are you going to offer your honey to this very thirsty honeybee or not?" The Gopi replied, "My dear bee, the husband of the lilies is the sun, not the bee. So why are you claiming that my honey belongs to you? But my dear lily, the very nature of your lilies is that you don't give your honey to your husband, the sun, but rather to your paramour, the bee." The Gopi, defeated by the words of Krishna, laughed and then gave him her lips as honey to drink. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti also described the following conversation. Krishna said to a Gopi, I can understand that as you approach this nipa tree standing here, you were bitten by an audacious snake. Its venom has already reached your chest. But since you are a respectable maiden, you haven't asked me to cure you. Still, I have come being merciful by nature. Now, while I massage your body with my hands, I will chant mantra to counteract the serpent's poison. The Gopi said, "But my dear snake charmer,